This file contains 6 7-no trump hands for you to try to plan to play at trick 1. Wesley's the 10 of diamonds, so now's the time to press pause and plan the whole play of the hand. All right, you start off with 6 clubs, 2 diamonds for 8, 3 hearts for 11, and 1 spade for 12. You need 1 extra trick. The extra trick can come from a successful finesse of West for the Jack of Hearts, a successful finesse of West for the King of Spades, or from a 3-3 heart split, or from a 4-2 heart split with the doubleton Jack of Hearts. So the right line of play is to play for the drop of the Jack of Hearts, followed by the 3-3 split of hearts. If neither of those happen, you can take a spade finesse or possibly play for some squeeze line of play. So you win the first trick and cash the King Queen of Hearts, see if the Jack falls. It didn't fall, so now you try for the 3-3, and when the Jack falls you can claim 13 tricks. If the Jack didn't fall, you would cross to the King of Diamonds and then run your clubs, and if you don't think a squeeze occurred, you can take the spade finesse at trick 12 and hope to make with the spade finesse winning. So that was a pretty easy one to plan from trick 1. Here's another one. You're in 7 no trump again, as you will be on all of these hands, and West leads the 3 of spades. So now's the time to press pause and consider your line of play on this hand. Okay, well, you have 8 tricks in the majors, plus the ace king of both minors. It's 4 more tricks. That's 12 tricks. You need just 1 trick. The trick has to come from a minor. You could come in by a successful finesse in either minor, or the drop of the queen in either minor. Since the chance of a finesse is roughly 50-50 now, we don't know much about the hand. The basic concept would be to try for dropping one of the minors and then finessing the other. Here we see that you've got a better chance of dropping the queen in diamonds, where the opponents only have 5 cards. Doubleton queen will happen 2 out of 5 times in diamonds, whereas a doubleton queen of clubs is very unlikely. So we're going to play for the drop in diamonds, and if that doesn't work, we're going to finesse in clubs. So we win the first spade, and we just try to see if we drop the queen of diamonds. It dropped, so that's great. We made it. So now let's see what happens if the queen of diamonds doesn't drop. Okay, East showed up with 4 diamonds to the queen, to West 1 diamond. We have a full count on the diamond suit, with West having only 1 diamond. That leaves him 12 spots, 12 vacant spaces to hold the queen of clubs. That leaves East only 9 vacant spaces to hold the queen of clubs. So since we know the diamond split, we could finesse either opponent in clubs. Which opponent should we finesse? Right, we should finesse West for the queen of clubs. So we cross our hand in clubs, and we lead the Jack of clubs, and when West doesn't cover, we finesse. So this line of play gave us 2 chances to make. The first was we dropped the doubleton queen, which was below 50% chance. When that failed, we had a 50% chance of the remaining hands. And when the queen didn't drop, then we could fall back on the finesse. If both opponents had followed to the second round of diamonds, you wouldn't know who had longer diamonds, and so then it would have been more of a guess who to finesse in clubs. You could finesse either one. You could explore around by cashing spades, see if there was a bad split in spades, but you had to keep communications between the 2 hands and hearts. So if both had followed, you might cash all 4 spades and see if somebody was longer in spades than the other. But once one of them showed out on the second round of diamonds, it's obvious you finesse his partner for the queen of diamonds. Let's move on to hand 6. Again, you're in 7 no trump, and the opening lead is the queen of clubs. Press pause as you plan your play of the hand and then restart the video. You have 2 clubs, 3 diamonds for 5, 3 hearts for 8, and 2 spades for 10. You need 3 extra tricks. You're not winning any extra tricks in either minor, so you need to win 3 tricks in the majors. You can get 3 extra tricks if hearts split no worse than 3-2, because you're missing 5, and that's the best chance. You can also win 3 extra tricks in spades if you drop the queen of spades in 2 rounds, or if you successfully finesse east for the queen of spades and spades split no worse than 3-2. So the most likely chance of success is the 3-2 heart split. That's the most frequent distribution when you're missing 5 cards. So we're going to win the first club trick in our hand to save the king of clubs as a late entry to dummy if we need it, although we may not need it. And we're going to try the heart suit to find if the suit's divided 3-2. But there's no reason not to see if we can successfully drop the queen of spades in 1 round, not 2. We cash the ace of spades. If the queen drops, we can claim. There's no queen. The doubleton queen of spades would be 2 out of 5 chances to drop the doubleton queen when the suit splits 3-2. There's no use to try that now because the finesse and spades would have better odds. So now we'll go ahead and test hearts. We'll test hearts by starting small to the queen, and the reason for this is if hearts split 3-2, we've got 6 heart tricks. If east has all 4 missing hearts and we win the first heart with the queen, we can finesse east twice in hearts, taking the deep finesse for the jack 10 and pick the suit up. We can only fail to win 6 heart tricks when west has 4. So we lead a small heart, west shows out, we win the queen. We could claim right now because we can finesse east twice in hearts, but we'll show how the play works. We lead a heart. If west plays low, we win the 9. If he puts up the jack or 10, we win the king. He puts up the jack. Now we can recross the dummy in clubs and finesse east again in hearts, and we'll take 13 tricks in the form of 6 hearts, 2 spades, 3 diamonds, and 2 clubs. What happens when we lead a small heart and west plays the jack or 10 to force us to play the queen, and east shows out? Now we can no longer win any more than 3 hearts without losing a trick. So we have to turn our attention back to spades. In spades, we can play for the doubleton queen of spades all sides by cashing the king and see if the queen falls. But the odds are 8 ever, 9 never, and with west having long hearts, the odds are east has the queen of spades. If east has 4 spades to the queen, we can't set up spades without losing a trick there. So we have to play east for 3 to the queen or doubleton queen of spades. So we lead a spade from dummy. East plays low, we finesse the 9. West follows, so now we have the rest of the tricks. The king of spades will drop the queen, and we've gained our 3 extra tricks in spades. Now we can unblock the king of diamonds, cross the dummy in clubs, cash all our winners, and then win the ace king of hearts on the last tricks. And you can plan all that at trick 1 before you ever played. Let's move along to hand 7. Once again, you're in 7 no trump. You get the opening lead of the 5 of spades. Pause the video and plan your play. When you're ready, restart the video. We have 4 spades, 3 hearts, maybe a 4th heart, but 3 hearts, 1 diamond, and 2 clubs. That comes to 10 tricks. We need 3 extra tricks. Even if we drop the jack of hearts, we need 2 extra tricks. These extra tricks have to come from clubs. We could, in theory, finesse either opponent in clubs, but do you see the problem with finessing West in clubs? If clubs are 3-2, you have to guess who to finesse, and if it's right, great. If it's wrong, you go down. But what if clubs are 4-1? You cannot win 3 extra club tricks anytime West has 4 clubs. So you lead a jack, you'll cover with the queen, you win the king, then your ace 10 won't drop the 9 or the 8, one of which West still has to have. So you can only pick up the 4-1 split by finessing East in clubs. So the plan here is to finesse East in clubs. You could, if you want, play around in the other suits and see if there's reason to believe West is long in clubs. But the basic principle here is if you're going to finesse in clubs, it makes more sense to finesse East than West. So you win the first spade, and you discover on the second spade that indeed West has long spades, increasing the odds that East has the queen of clubs. So you just have to take a first round finesse. Why not cash the king of clubs before you finesse in clubs? And the reason is pretty clear if you think about it. If you cash the king, you're trying to drop that singleton queen all sides. That's 1 out of 5 situations. There are 5 different clubs West can hold. Only one of them is the queen. So if you cash the king, you'll catch the stiff queen in West 1 out of 5 times he has a singleton club. But the other 4 times, you will lose to the queen fourth in West. The queen will stand up as a stopper. So you take the first round club finesse, and when that wins, you can claim, because you can cross back the dummy and repeat the finesse. And West shows out. Now you can just cash the ace of clubs, and you've got your heart re-entry to dummy, and so you win 13 tricks. As you can throw away 2 diamonds and heart losers out of your hand on the 2 good clubs and the ace of spades. But let's change the hand slightly. This is the same hand, but we put the 9 of clubs in dummy. Now you can pick up a 4-1 split no matter who you finesse at trick 1. On the previous hand, it was pretty obvious we were going to finesse East for the queen of clubs. Now you have the option. You can finesse East or West on the queen of clubs. So it makes sense here to do a little discovery play. You would win the first spade, and I would cash 2 more spades to try to decide who to finesse in clubs. When East shows out, again, the odds are you're going to finesse East for the queen of clubs. And indeed, that wins here. So sometimes who you finesse depends on how you can handle the split in the suit you're finessing in. On the first example of 7, and on this example of board 7, you could go, you're going more along the lines of the vacant space. West with 5 spades, East 1 spade makes it way more likely it's 12-8 or 4-6 or 2-3 that East has the queen of clubs. This is deal 9. As always, you're in 7 no trump in part 1 hands. The opening lead is the jack of clubs. You have time to pause the video and plan your play. You're going to need to bring hearts home. This is a 8 ever, 9 never situation. But as we saw in the introductory material, while the usual rule is with 8 ever, always finesse the missing queen, 9 never, always, I put always in quotes in both of those phrases, play for the drop. We know that the odds change depending on what you find out about the other suits. So what you're going to have to do here is a little exploration or discovery or active spy tools. You want to find out if the odds are still best to play for the drop, or if what you find about the other suits can affect how you play the heart suit. We're going to play on the other suits, reserving the ability to finesse in hearts. And of course we'll cash the ace or king of hearts, one of them early, just in case the queen drops. So we'll play on diamonds and see what we discover in diamonds. can afford a heart discard. Alright, so East had longer diamonds than West. East had 5 diamonds to West Doubleton. So that leaves 8 vacant spaces that we know of in East hand versus 11 vacant spaces in West. So it's 11 to 8 that the finesse is going to be on. We go ahead and cash the Ace of Hearts. They both follow. King of Spades. We don't get any vacant space information from these plays, although it's a little curious. If West had the Queen Jack of Spades, he might have led the Queen of Spades at trick 1 instead of a club. It's not clear. So now we can cash the club, see if there's anything there that's going to give us any extra information. Well, we haven't gotten a full count in any of the other suits. Somebody still has another club, but the odds now favor the finesse. Now we're going to go down. If the finesse loses, we're going to go down way more than 1, but we don't care about that. We want to make our grand slam when we bid it, so down 3 or 4 instead of just down 1 is hardly a problem. So we now think the odds have changed in heart suit. So if West plays small, we're going to take the finesse, and it wins. So our discovery play hinted at the winning line. Now understand, sometimes just because the odds slightly favor the finesse or slightly favor the drop, if you take the percentage play, it won't win, but you have to play the odds in the long run. You'll be a winner. Now we'll look at the last hand of this set. This time we've got some information from the auction. West opens 3 diamonds, and you and your partner end up in 7 no trump. I'm not advocating this auction. I'm just showing you how it went at the table. And the opening lead was the Queen of Diamonds. Being vulnerable, we can assume West started with 7 diamonds. Just keep that in mind. He may have had 6. If West had 7, then East had only 1. If West had 6, then East had 2. That would be 7, 4, 1, 1 if he had 7, or 6, 4, 2, 1 if he had a 6-card suit. So you're going to win the first trick. So as always, pause the video as you plan your line of play. Welcome back. West led the Queen of Diamonds. Since he preempted 3 diamonds, we think he's vulnerable. We think he has 7 diamonds. If he has 7 diamonds, the diamond suit is split 7, 4, 1, 1. East has 1. That leaves 6 vacant spaces in West hand versus 12 in East hand. We have to assume clubs are coming home. That would give us 6 club tricks, 2 diamonds for 8, 2 hearts for 10, 2 spades for 12. You have a 2-way finesse in spades. Who should you finesse? Since the diamond suit is so lopsided, the odds favor East having the Queen of Spades, but you don't have to make that decision at trick 1. We'll go ahead and win the opening lead. If you wanted, you could test to make sure East only had 1 diamond. There's no great rush for that. We're going to cash some winners and see what we discover. So what we found out now is that West opened the bidding, preempted 3 diamonds. He had 2 clubs, so 7-2. So when he's 7-2, he can be 7-2, 3-1, or he could be 7-2, 2-2, or he could be 7-2, 4-0. So those are his distributions. He could have 3 hearts and 1 spade, or he could reverse that with 4 spades and no hearts, or it could be 2-2 in the 2 suits. You can afford to throw a spade, and you throw a heart, and you throw a diamond. So now you could cash 2 hearts to see how many hearts West had. If he shows up with 2 hearts, if he shows up with 3 spades, all this would affect how you play the hand. So what I would do is I would lead a heart. Let's just show you all the hands because it doesn't matter. I would lead a heart to my hand. West followed. I'd lead another heart. West followed. Then I'd lead the ace of diamonds. So you got close to a full count on West hand. You knew West started with 7 diamonds. He clearly only had 1 as he didn't follow to the second round. You knew West had 2 clubs because he followed suit. You knew he had at least 2 hearts because he followed suit twice. So he has at most, he can have at most 2 spades. So you play a spade to dummy. And take the percentage play of finessing east for the queen of hearts, queen of spades. So this is how you can plan the whole play of the hand at trick 1. We'll have one more set of these videos played at trick 1. Then we'll have the introduction material on squeeze plays, which is an extra way to win that 13th trick when there's no obvious way to win it.